Elon Musk has this past week made another bold move, depending on your perspective, in his ongoing feud with OpenAI. So, Elon Musk, along with a group of investors, has placed a $97.4 billion bid to acquire the nonprofit entity that controls OpenAI. This is an unsolicited offer that seems to be designed to kind of throw a wrench into the company's current fundraising efforts. This consortium backing Musk's bid includes his AI company, XAI, the investment firm Vi Capital, and Hollywood power player Ari Emanuel. Now, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman quickly dismissed the bid with a mocking response on X. He offered to buy Twitter from Musk for $9.74 billion instead. Musk shot back with a single word reply. He said, swindler. And, the board then again also rejected the bid, but the timing of this offer is kind of what matters because despite the rejection, like OpenAI probably doesn't need this kind of headache because it's in the middle of trying to secure a massive $40 billion investment round led by SoftBank, which would value them at $300 billion. That would make them one of the most valuable private companies in the world alongside Musk's own SpaceX. And kind of at the core of all this conflict is OpenAI's unusual corporate structure. Founded as a nonprofit in 2015, they later formed a for-profit arm to attract investment. However, the nonprofit, as of right now, still retains legal control. That's something they're trying to change as they transition to a for-profit company. Now, Musk's bid seems like it may be an attempt to establish the market value of this, potentially kind of complicating OpenAI's whole efforts to get to that nonprofit structure. If they can move forward there, they may now have to justify paying a significantly higher price for their independence from that nonprofit. So, Paul, there's a lot of moving pieces here. First up, we have to ask with anything Elon Musk does, is this a serious offer? Is it trolling? Is it both? Is it something else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just largely an attempt to muddy up the waters, create friction for OpenAI and Sam, creating this artificially high value that I don't think has any belief would actually end up going through. I don't think he actually thinks he's going to be able to buy OpenAI. For context on the Altman tweet, it was a shot at Musk. If you recall, Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion in October 2023, and then proceeded to, the value proceeded to tank to somewhere roughly in the range of $9 billion today. So it's definitely been getting personal, and I think Sam stayed out of the personal attacks for a while, and you can tell now with interviews that Sam's patience is basically just gone. And so he was interviewed, I think it was like last Tuesday, and he said, I wish he, being Elon, would just compete by building a better product. And then when the interviewer asked him, some more detail, he said his whole life is from a position of insecurity. I feel for the guy. I don't think he's a happy person. So, I think it's just getting to the point where Sam is just fed up with this and truly just, if you're going to compete, but like stop trying to screw us over in the process. And Elon feels wronged, and that doesn't end well when Elon feels like he's been wronged. So a little context on the offer. So you kind of alluded to this, Mike, but there's a great article from The Information that kind of like had a really good breakdown here. But the key is that, when Altman took over as CEO in 2019 and sort of like Elon was pushed out after he tried to roll OpenAI into Tesla. So Elon actually wanted OpenAI to be a for-profit company. In 2017-18, when they realized they needed to raise billions of dollars, Elon was the one pushing for the for-profit entity and actually tried to move it in and take full control of it under Tesla in 2019. And that's when he lost the power struggle with Sam. And so this friction has existed since that time. The basic concept, as The Information reports it, is that the nonprofit arm, and if you're confused by all this, like, welcome to the club. It's a really complex organizational structure that you can't just simply take a nonprofit and make it a for-profit and IPO and everything's fine. Like, the nonprofit owns the assets. It controls the mission. Like, you can't just extract it out. You have to give the value to that nonprofit. And so the rumor is that in this transition, the nonprofit would take a 25% equity stake in the for-profit. So if the company, I'm going to do some quick math here, Mike. If the company is valued at 300 billion, 25% would be 75
Yeah.
billion, I think.
Yeah.
So they're saying that the equity stake from the nonprofit would be roughly 75 billion. Well, Elon's saying, fine, I'll pay 97 billion. So
Hmm.
you as a nonprofit need to accept this because you have a fiscal responsibility to do so. And we're offering more than you're going to value it at. So they're just trying to like make this like super complex. Um, so there is this irony in here that like this was Elon's plan all along. OpenAI published. We'll put this link back on the site. So again, if you haven't been listening to the show for a long time, we covered all this like episodes ago. But OpenAI in December published like basically an expose of like all of Elon's emails, all their communications that just laid all this out. That like, hey, he's the one that wanted to do this. We're just doing what he was originally planning on anyway.
Yeah.
So there's all that, and then there's this weird twist here that Brett Taylor, who is the chair of the OpenAI board right now, the nonprofit board, he was the chair of the Twitter board when Elon bought Twitter, and so I'll explain why that's kind of weird in a second. So Brett Taylor released an official statement through the OpenAI newsroom Twitter account that said OpenAI is not for sale, and the board has unanimously rejected Mr. Musk's latest attempt to disrupt his competition. Any potential reorganization of OpenAI will strengthen our nonprofit and its mission to ensure AGI benefits all of humanity. So what they've said is basically we're a mission-driven nonprofit, and Elon buying us does not fit the mission. So no, we're not
Mm.
interested. Doesn't matter how much money you offer. So then Elon actually replies, of course, to the OpenAI newsroom tweet. And he says, from a friend, quote, Brett Taylor is a scammer running an agent startup that literally has no product whatsoever and is funneling money into OpenAI. He just does bureaucracy. So now Elon's coming at Brett. So again, let's go back to 2022 when Elon tries basically a hostile takeover of Twitter, makes an offer unsolicited for 44 billion or whatever it was, $54.20 a share. He does this through Brett Taylor. So like this all goes back to they had a relationship. So he texts Brett Taylor back in 2020 saying, "Hey, I'm taking over Twitter basically." And then the next day submits the offer. Well, then if you'll recall, Elon tries to back out of the Twitter acquisition. So he blames it on like spam and bots and all this stuff. So he realizes like he got in over skis and he didn't actually want to buy Twitter. And Brett Taylor and the board basically forced him to see the acquisition through. And so Elon didn't want Twitter. It's kind of worked out. I mean, other than tanking the value, it's kind of worked out okay because it gave him a platform and influence and data to train his own AI. But
Mm.
at the time, he didn't want it, and Brett made him do it basically. So there's just like layers of drama and complexity here, and it's just so funny to like watch. I don't know. Like if it wasn't scary, it'd be like really funny.
So the board has rejected this offer. I guess I have to ask, like, is this the end of it? Is there a chance this
No.
could still happen in some form? Like, what is your take on what's most likely to happen in the immediate future?
Yeah. So what triggered this was that last week, a judge basically indicated in the case against OpenAI that the judge was likely to side with OpenAI in this and basically throw Musk's case out. So in essence, like Musk's attorneys, which he probably has an infinite number of and endless resources to pay them, basically just probably have a bunch of, bullets in the chamber of like, all right, cool. Like, let's do this next thing and this next thing. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't see Musk stopping at all on this. And then the irony is, as we'll talk about, he's launching his own new model tonight, Monday night. And so he's directly competing with OpenAI. And he truly is, I think, just trying to mess with them and slow them down and try and get out ahead of OpenAI. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I do not think he's going to stop.